Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Obsidian Achievement. This is your host, Mike Russin. So you guys are getting two episodes today, so make sure you listen to the last one, which is titled Proximity, because I have a very special and important announcement on that one. This one, I'm just kind of ripping off the cuff. I literally have no direction for this. I have a topic in my head, and we're going to see where we end up. So we're going on an adventure today to which we do not know the destination, which is wherever we end up, that's where we're going to go. So you guys are coming along for the ride with me. I want to talk about Afghanistan and what's going on over there and in our country. Again, I don't have a direction for this, although I do have an idea of where I want to take this actually. What we're seeing right now is the consequence of weak, I love this word, flaccid leadership. Regardless of what side you're on politically, I have major issues with the Republican Party. I have a lot of major issues with the Democrats. I don't know if I really, if anything, I would say my views are more libertarian than anything. Like, hey, basically don't touch my shit. I won't hurt you. Leave me alone. And don't tax me as much as you do. But I think it goes without saying that regardless of your political affiliations, we could all agree that we're watching probably one of the worst crisis mismanagements in history. It's really interesting. Anybody my age or older, we lived through the new millennium from 1999 to 2000 with the Y2K shit. September 11th, the war, 20-year war in Afghanistan, which we just lost. So we literally can't say that too many generations of people have lived through the U.S. losing a war. We just did. COVID, the 2007-2008 economic collapse. Like, holy shit, it's been a while. Donald Trump was president. Harambe got killed. Like, we've had a wild 30 years, man. Since I've been alive, I'm 29. It's been a wild ride. And when I just kind of step back and I look at this situation and everything that's going on in the world right now, what I've realized is that a lot of this comes from a lack of strong leadership, and that we're seeing the effects of weak leadership now. And honestly, I think it comes a lot from society moving more towards a globalistic, I guess if that's a word, society. To where it's, if anything proves my point, it's that the Middle East has been in turmoil literally since the beginning of time. The Middle East has been at war, and they've been doing things a certain way for thousands and thousands of years. So I think the biggest argument against globalism is that we went and tried to install a democracy in a region that knows nothing of democracy. We were there for 20 years as the most powerful military complex on the planet. And after 20 years, we pull out and it immediately collapses. If there's a better argument that there isn't a one-size-fits-all, I don't know if it exists. People, what's so crazy is that look at what our society is trying to do right now. It's literally trying to water everybody down to a consumer. You look at gender politics. They're trying to blur the lines between what makes men and women different. People that are proud of living in the United States and proud of our heritage and proud of our history are being labeled as right-wing extremists. That anybody who's proud that nationalism now is on the list of potential terror threats. What is happening and what you're starting to see is an abandonment of tribalism, an abandonment of nationalism, and a push towards globalism, and it's being masked by this ideology, this false, rotten ideology that's built on rotten virtues of we need to be responsible for everybody else in the world and everybody needs to be treated the same and everybody. That's not how the world works. That's not how the world works. People are different. There's different cultures. Like, they're trying to strip everybody in the world of their cultural identities and blend everything. And it's not a melting pot anymore. It's going to be a homogenous blend of just bland white consumerism. I don't mean white skin color. I just mean bland and just with lacking character. It's consumerism. Because when you think about major corporations, the more people they can appeal to, the more money they make. Well, the more alike and similar everybody is, the easier that it is to appeal to the masses. So this is why it makes sense. Let's destroy the male-female dynamic. Let's just destroy the fundamental binary nature of gender. Let's make people who are proud of a certain country or region, let's label them as terrorists and extremists so that we can blend everybody together, remove individualism, and promote a one-size-fits-all product for all of our needs. What you guys are seeing right now, the effects of what happens when corporations have too much power. And the reason why this has happened is going back to what I said before. There is a lack of strong leadership. There is a lack of strong leadership in the world, and that's evidenced by the disease-sick globalism just that we're starting to see manifest in every facet of society right now. So we look at a case like Afghanistan, where Americans and troops are left behind and our president is setting deadlines for evacuation, where our president is negotiating with terrorists and asking them for permission to pull our people out. If you need more examples of weak leadership, I don't know where else to point you other than this current situation that we're looking at right now. So what's the solution? The solution is for the individual to start standing back up for their beliefs. The solution is for the individual to start standing back up and taking a stand against tyranny and evil and perversion and weakness, and start voicing what is right, what is true, what is wholesome, what is edifying, we need more people, both men and women, to start taking a stand for their beliefs and stop living in fear of looking like an outcast. We don't need more sheep. We need more lions. We don't need more sheep. We need more lions. And it's time for the lions to start waking up and being what lions are. And that's a fucking lion. That's a hunter. That's a killer. That's a provider. I'm not saying that we should start to incite physical violence by any means, but it's time for people to start acting with tenacity and ferocity. You gave inch after inch after inch, inch after inch after inch, in the name of tolerance and acceptance. I'm just going to keep it real with you. There are certain things I do not tolerate and I do not accept. I will never tolerate or accept a grown man in a dress teaching my kid how to twerk at a library. Won't ever tolerate it, and I'll never accept it. And we need more people, men and women, that aren't afraid to say things like that and take a stand against the cultural perversion that's being propagated in the society right now. More men and women need to start taking a stand and using their position, their power, and their influence. See, the reason why people don't take a stand, even when they strongly disagree with something, is because they're afraid that their position, their power, their influence is going to be attacked, that you're going to be, quote unquote, canceled. Well, your fear is the reason why your grandkids, as soon as 2 generations from now, won't even have a United States to live in, won't have any freedoms, won't have the same access to opportunity that you've been able to create in this great country because you decided to hide, because you decided to put your career ahead of your core beliefs. It's time for people to start taking a stand for what they believe in, and it's time for us to start to, I guess, violently oppose the things that are being forced upon us right now. Mandatory vaccinations, face diapers, drag queen library book reading with your children. They're trying to teach preschoolers about gender and sex. Preschoolers. And it's because you've remained silent and hidden in fear. The good news is that what we're starting to see is more and more people start to stand up. We're starting to see more and more people start to get pissed off. We're starting, and what this country needs is a return to the biblical principles that it was founded upon. Understand that every person in this country has the right to life, liberty, but there's an action verb associated with pursuit of happiness. Yes, you should be able to live a free life, just free of the fear of violence. But happiness is something that I believe everybody in society thinks everybody deserves to just get. And we could see that just with the government handouts, and these restaurants and these other places can't even staff jobs when they offer $20 to $25 an hour to flip burgers, is because the pursuit has been taken out, and instead we're just focusing on making sure everybody's happy and comfortable. This is a society where antidepressants and mind-altering chemicals are prescribed to people after a 30-minute session with a psychiatrist, which is barely now. Modern psychiatrists are less doctors and more pill prescribers and salespeople for pharmaceutical companies. It's disgusting. A person that's very close to me was feeling a little bit down and saw a Facebook ad and set up a call with a psychiatrist. And after a 30-minute virtual call, this person was already trying the so-called doctor was trying to put this individual on mind-altering mood stabilizers after a 30-minute conversation. This is a society where the USDA literally created a food pyramid that told you to stuff your face with 10 servings of bread a day and cut out healthy fats from your diet completely. That told you to eat more cereal than it told you to eat avocado and fish oil. And we wonder why there's obesity and depression and anxiety running rampant. Like, everything in this society right now is evidence of corruption, greed, and perversion. Everything from what we accept as a society in terms of what we expose our kids to how we eat. And it's time for people to start taking a stand against this. And it's time for people to start self-educating and shut off the experts, because the only thing these quote-unquote experts are doing are pushing prescriptions, whether it's actual pills or lifestyle changes or things even in the economy that are making them money. You have to be very careful of who you get your advice from and who you listen to, and look at the track record. It's so funny. You ever been in a hospital? Why do hospitals serve some of the most nutrient deficient foods where it's a place where people should be getting better and recovering from sickness? You ever eaten hospital food before? Why do they serve the most nutrient deficient foods in a place where people need more nutrients than anything else? Let me ask you that question. So again, we didn't have an agenda today. My laptop's going to die here soon, but I did want to talk briefly and just encourage the leaders on this call. You don't have to be a multi-millionaire business owner. You don't have to have a platform like a podcast. This is what I want to encourage you guys all to do today as an action item. Start being a leader in your circle of influence. Whether you're a mother, you're a father, whether you're a husband or a wife or a fiance or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a friend or a manager somewhere at a bookstore, it doesn't matter. Start being a leader in your circle of influence, and that the change that you want to see in the world starts with the change in yourself. Become the change that you want to see in the world in such a dramatic and outspoken way that it challenges people to either remove themselves from your circle of influence, which good riddance, or start to be changed because they're a part of your circle of influence. Stop living in fear and start stepping up and making a difference. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Appreciate you guys. Let's get it. Peace.